I was like the #1 consumer of gum for like 3 or 4 years straight. I had to have been.
Nice.
In the back of the car, I had my ice set up with me, so I could just dump the ice in there and throw my hands in there. It was insane. Everything that I had tried before, the purpose was, let's make the body calm right now. And my body didn't want to be calm right now. Your course was like, you don't have to be calm right now. That's fine. And I was like, thank God, because I'm not. You know what I mean? Thank God I don't have to be fine right now.
You can say I'm happy, you can say I'm positive, you can say I'm safe, but if you act like you're in danger, you're gonna keep having symptoms.
100%. I was having a really hard night. I was feeling very, very alone. I was feeling very suicidal. And I was talking to my mom. I was like, Mom, something's very wrong. I don't know if you need to take me somewhere. I should not be left alone. And she said, I saw this guy on Instagram. I want to show you this video. And it was you. And I saw that video. I felt this freedom. I literally just ran outside. It felt like something had been ripped off my back. It just gave me permission to like go have weird heartbeats if I needed to. Like that was crazy for me. My name is Johnny. I am from Central USA. I live out in the middle of nowhere right now. Just kind of trees and dirt roads. And I struggled with anxiety and panic since the time that I could formulate thoughts. So my oldest memories going back are being like genuinely like 5 years old, panicking, so worried, so afraid of so many different things. And it started out whenever I was really young. I was constantly afraid someone was going to break into my house while I was sleeping. So I would obsessively go around and I would check the locks and all the doors and all the windows. And I'm only like 5 or 6 years old, so it's clearly not my job. Like my dad has that covered. But I'm like, I'm going to go around and 10 or 12 loops around the house until my mom's like, John, you got to go lay down. Everything's okay. And then I'd laid there with my blanket up over, just freaking out, clutching my pillow all night into the morning. And that went on for a few years. And then as soon as I started to kind of grow out of that, all of a sudden I became terrified of storms. I was so petrified, so terrified of storms that even on like a sunny day where it wasn't going to rain, it wasn't going to storm, just seeing a cloud would just set my mood, just set me off. It really heavily ruined my young childhood years, trying to be with friends, trying to play sports, when all I could think about was the clouds in the sky. So through this time, I had a lot of panic attacks, but they were very, very sporadic. And they were always tied to something very clear as a stimulus, as far as I'm having a panic attack, but I also know it's because I saw the cloud.
Yeah.
As long as they were tied to these things, it's easy to associate the symptoms with the clear thing, obviously. I was 20 years old when I had my first panic attack that was not related to something I could point to. I was playing basketball, and I remember I went up for a layup, and as I hit the ground, it was like I had fallen through the floor and I was in a different world. Like my skin went cold, tunnel vision, and I'm like, oh, I'm having a stroke. That is what I thought. I was like, this is a stroke. And I laid down on the ground, and I have friends around me, and they're like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I'm like, call 911, get somebody. I'm having a stroke. But in about 10 or 15 minutes, I was better. And I was like, oh my God, I got to get home. Something just happened. So I went speeding home. I was like, Mom, I just about died. I went to the ER, and they did, an EKG, they did labs. They're like, everything's good. You're definitely having some anxiety. Your heart is, you're having some ectopic beats and it's racing, but you're fine. And I remember hearing that. I was like, well, I've had anxiety my whole life. This never happened before, so this is not anxiety, right? Well, that kept happening. I kept going back to the gym. I kept having these panic attacks. I kept going to the ER. I kept getting the same tests. I kept staying within that cycle, but they just got easier and easier to trigger as I became more and more sensitized to them and was looking for them more and more in daily life. Until it got to the point where I made the decision the gym is not a place for me anymore where I can be safe. So I'm gonna stop going to the gym, which worked great for like 2 weeks. I had taken away my big trigger. I had shrank my life. I had shrank down my comfort zone. I had lost one of the things I loved most in the world, but I wasn't panicking for a couple weeks. What I still did then was I was still hiking a lot. I would go hiking with my friends and we would go do stuff like that. Then I had a panic attack out on a trail. So I'm like, all right, no more hiking, right? Then I had a panic attack at a friend's house. Well, no more leaving my house. Then I had a panic attack, at the store. No more going to the store. And it shrunk until my comfort zone was confined to my bed. And even then, my bed didn't feel safe anymore because then I started to have a panic attack in my bed.
When that all happened, when your life started shrinking down, how did that make you feel?
Well, to be very blunt, I felt absolutely suicidal. It was excruciating pain. I don't know how to, it was just my life being ripped away from me. And it felt like everything that I did to try and make it better made it worse. And it wasn't my fault, but that is what was happening because I was doing what everyone does when they first start having panic and anxiety is they go, well, how do I stop these feelings, right? How do I get away from these feelings? How do I avoid the situations that bring these out? When they do show up, what can I do to make it go away? So I'm carrying all these different things with me, right? I have mint gum. That was a big one for me. I had this little chest, like a ball, and it vibrates. I put it on my chest. That would be something. I would carry a plastic bucket and ice, so I could just dump the ice in there and throw my hands in there. So
No way. You carried that?
Oh yeah. In the back of the car, I had my ice setup with me, and I had a charger for my vibration ball, and I was like the number one consumer of gum for like 3 or 4 years straight. I had to have been. It was insane. I had this whole kit I'd bring with me everywhere.
Back then, it felt like, we're not kind of laughing about it because we know obviously now what it is. Looking back, we know what it is. But back then, it felt really like something that kind of helped, didn't it? That's something you had to do. I remember doing those things as well. I had Jan with me all the time as well. Like it made lots of sense, didn't it?
It 100% did, and it is what what most of the advice that I would find online whenever I would look it up, because I was finding very surface level things, was like, oh, well, ice is good for a panic attack. It stimulates the vagus nerve and it calms your body, which it's true and it does, and it's great for you. But just because it's good for you and has a calming effect on the body doesn't mean that's how you escape panic and anxiety, right? And then it was the same thing with the ball on my chest that stimulates the vagus nerve, so it does that, It was the same thing with drinking the kava. Okay, it stimulates GABA and it does all this, and they all helped in the moment. But you can't have to bring a kit around with you everywhere. And the second that I would be separated from my kit, I would start to panic. And eventually the kit stopped making it much better, right? Eventually it gets to a place where you have all this stuff with you and you use it instinctively. And is it really helping anymore? Probably not, because the focus is so shifted to looking for symptoms, to looking for problems, that, the smallest thing just spirals, right? You're concerned about being dizzy, and like one step feels weird. Now all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I must be spinning. I must be dizzy. It just spirals. It just spirals.
I recognize what Johnny's saying. He's saying the focus goes all the way to the symptom. We're only focused on the symptom. And if you've seen the mini course, probably you have. If you're watching this video, you probably have. That one of the problems is that we tend to get fixated on the symptom and not necessarily on our response to the symptoms, because we're trying to influence the symptoms, which we can't do. So was there any specific timing that made you think like, I need to do something else or something like that,
Oh yeah. So I'm 26 now, I'll be 27 in a few months. I found your course, I want to say maybe about a year ago. Maybe that's a little bit longer than it has been. It's probably not been that long. We'll just say that anyways. So the bulk of this suffering lasts about 5 years. So it would be, we're suffering really badly. I'd find ice, kava, vibration, something. It'd help a bit. It'd stop helping. I'd find something else, and I just kept riding that, but it was trending worse, right? It was trending, overall, I'm getting worse. I tried every single thing that anyone could think to try, in my mind. I tried NLP. I tried hypnotherapy. I tried every weird supplement you could think of. I tried every medication you could think of. I tried therapy. I tried psychiatrists. I tried like energy healing, like crystals, like whatever it was that I could find that someone said might have an impact. I tried. Nothing worked at all. What did help would help for short term, and it wouldn't give me the help that I needed. It made me feel broken. It made me feel like it was all completely my fault. And it just made me feel so helpless. So I was constantly, like, my whole life was devoted to figuring out what I needed to do to get better. That was everything. It was all I thought about. I mean, my friends, my family, my relationships suffered because I wasn't present, because all I could think about was, what is it I need to do? And I was having a really hard night. I was feeling very, very alone. I was feeling very suicidal. I was really in a bad place. And I was talking to my mom. I was like, Mom, something's very wrong. I don't know if you need to take me somewhere. I don't feel safe being alone with myself. Either you need to stay with me or someone needs to be with me right now. I should not be left alone. And she said, I saw this guy on Instagram. I want to show you this video. And it was you. And it was you talking about anxiety. And I don't remember the gist of the video exactly. I want to say that you at least said something along the lines of, what you've been doing likely is the opposite of what you should be doing, right? Which is so true for everybody I've ever talked to. But I remember hearing your voice, and I remember thinking, yeah, this is what I'm doing next. This is what I'm trying. And I immediately started watching the videos. I was like, oh my God, I can be happy and have symptoms at the same time. That was a mind-blowing, earth-shattering realization to be like, I'm allowed to be happy. Like, in my mind, the last 5 or 6 years of my life, I was waiting to be happy for these symptoms to go away. Then I'll be happy, right? I'll be happy once this is gone. The nature of life is that if you're putting off happiness for something to happen, once that thing happens, you'll just put it off again, right? So I'll be happy once these symptoms are gone. Well, if that really took place, I'm sure I would have found another reason not to be happy yet. And it just gave me that permission, like, I can be happy now. I can just accept that things aren't perfect, and I can be happy right here and right now. And that was a realization that was bigger than just anxiety. Acceptance is like, that is life right there.
When I think back to my journey, the first time I heard about it, I was like, immediately felt this sense of, this is something new. This is something else. This would allow me literally to have these symptoms still, still go out and live my life.
Still live my life. Yeah.
Yes. It's ending the fight, isn't it? You're allowed to stop the fight. You've been fighting for years, and you can then let go. And by the way, your mom's amazing.
Yeah. She is.
Actually didn't know that she was the one who saw my video first.
She's been with me the whole time, man. And I just, I am grateful for her Instagram algorithm, seeing your ad. But like, yes. I'll never forget, as soon as I saw that video, like, something that I've been struggling with so much was just like walking across my house, because I feel my heart rate increase a little bit. And I was so sensitive to my heart rate that it even being like 90 was like overwhelming, freaked me out too much. And I saw that video, I felt this freedom, and I literally just ran outside and like deep breaths. I'm like touching my chest. And I'm like, okay, here we go. I'm alive. I'm out here. And I felt my heartbeat, and I'm looking at the trees. I'm smiling. I'm like, I'm here. I am here. I'm here. I am living my life right now. I'm accepting what I feel. Just that moment, it was like crazy. It felt like something had been ripped off my back. Like I was a wild animal just ready to go, like hyperventilate or something. It was genuinely more profound than it sounds. Like it really just hearing about that, it just gave me permission to like go have weird heartbeats if I needed to. Like that was crazy for me.
That is amazing. And before you joined, so you watched the video, maybe the masterclass or whatever, a couple of videos before you actually joined the 16-week program, the Answer to Anxiety. Did you have any doubts or any fears before you decided to sign up?
I signed up within 15 minutes of watching half of your ad. Nice. I watched like half of it, and I was signed up, and then I was watching videos. I was so desperate for something that I didn't have time to like even think that way. I was just like, this is what I'm doing right now, full send. Everything that I had tried before, the purpose was, let's make the body calm right now. And my body didn't want to be calm right now. Your course was like, you don't have to be calm right now. That's fine. And I was like, thank God, because I'm not. You know what I mean? Thank God I don't have to be fine right now. And it's like just, you know, that acceptance of like where you're at right now, like accepting that, hey, I might feel this symptom. I might feel this energy. I might be having these thoughts. I'm going to go bowling with my friends and I'm going to let all this stuff be here and I'm going to go have fun. Like, unbelievable. You know what I mean? Because it's how, like, it's so foreign to people with anxiety that they can enjoy their lives still. And it makes sense because anxiety is very painful at times. It's not easy to find the right information on how to heal. It can really bum you out. But a lot of the things that I try and help people who reach out to me for help with is like, just like, find a way to enjoy your life while having these symptoms. And that is what you gave me in that moment, was just the ability to enjoy myself anyway.
Let's talk a little bit about the journey. You've been through the 16 weeks. I remember some of the things you said back then. I remember that video you posted in the community. What were, would you say, like the biggest breakthroughs you had in that journey, in your recovery journey, basically?
I stopped having panic attacks, full stop. Haven't had one since, like 3 weeks after starting the course. I also just like feral energy into exposure immediately upon hearing it. I was just so ready. You know what I mean? I was so ready that as soon as I heard about it, I was just spending as much time like getting that exposure as I possibly could. So again, the first big breakthrough was after hearing about acceptance and exposure for the first time from you, just running outside and like genuinely running outside. It's the first time I had ran in like 3 years, because what I did was I shuffled around the house so I didn't raise my heart rate. So I was like, screw it, I'm running and jumping right now. That was the first one. Started to see big improvements from there. So I started to do a little bit of cardiovascular exercise again. I got on a recumbent bike, and while pedaling, I had a symptom that I hadn't really had very much of, which was chest pain. And it was on the left, and it radiated to my heart and jaw, which I was like, oh, I'm having a heart attack. But I was like, I'm not having a heart attack. I'm not having a heart attack right now. There's no way I'm having a heart attack. I'm gonna keep pedaling. And then it went away, and I kept pedaling, and it went away. And obviously, for anyone listening, I only did that because I have gone to the doctor and have my stuff checked out. I'm not just like willy-nilly, like, I'm not having a heart attack. Like, I have medical data that says my heart's fine. So I was like, I'm going to trust that. I'm going to trust acceptance and exposure, and I'm going to do this anyway.
I get on the exercise bike, and as soon as I'm on there, I'm starting to think, all right, I need to relax my body. I need to relax my jaws. Okay, if my chest gets tight, I'm gonna bring my arms here. Immediately, I fall into all of this different safety-seeking behavior. And as I'm biking, I start to get this chest pain. It's like a sharp chest pain. It radiates into my shoulder blade, into my jaw. And I immediately started thinking, oh my God, I must be having a heart attack, because when I Googled it, it said, you know, pain that radiates here, radiates there. This is a heart attack. So I get off the bike. For the next 3 or 4 hours, I'm in this state of tightness and anxiety and panic and pain everywhere I can imagine. And after a while of this, I just started to get frustrated, and I started to go, you know what? I'm tired of being a slave to the sensations of my body. I'm like, I'm gonna go get back on the exercise bike again. And this time I got on the bike with a totally different energy. The first time, everything was, oh, I'm trying to be calm. I'm trying to distract myself. I'm trying to think about calming thoughts. This time I'm thinking about my heart. I'm thinking, come on, pump, beat, hurt, do something. Like I was antagonized the whole time. Do something. Show me that I'm going to die. Do it right now. And I'm pedaling. And then the entire 10 minutes goes by. No tightness. I had pain for maybe 10 seconds and it evaporated immediately. And it just really shows me the power of acceptance and the power of paradoxical intention that Jort talks about.
You knew you weren't gonna get a heart attack. Even your anxiety will make you feel that way. But it's like, you know, I'm in charge now. Bring it on. I don't even care. I'm gonna ride my bike, continue what I love to do. I don't even care anymore. That is so, like, I can see it in you know, in the video. I remember I can see it in your face now. It's so powerful. It puts you.
It's unbelievable. It is. Yeah. Like, it is such a powerful technique. I love paradoxical intention. It works for so many things, so many anxiety things. You can just say, you know what? I'm not afraid of you. Come at me as hard as you want. That is the advice I give to people who stutter, is like, let yourself stutter.
Yes.
Get on the phone, try and stutter, go to a store, try and stutter to somebody. With symptoms, it's beautiful. It's like, all right, I'm dizzy. Well, can I be twice as dizzy? Can I spin around in circles and make myself more dizzy? I would do that. I would spin in circles to make myself more dizzy, to practice feeling the dizziness and overloading myself with it. Like, give it to me. I accept this. I'm okay with it. I can tolerate all of it. I can tolerate any level of this right now. That feeling is like, it's a shock to your body.
You're showing your own, your brain, your nervous system that you're safe, and this is only done by action, by doing, because you can think as much as you can. You can say I'm happy. You can say I'm positive. You can say I'm safe. But if you act like you're in danger, you're gonna keep having symptoms. So
100%. And for me, I needed to prove to myself with showing myself that I could tolerate these things. Like, I was never going to be sure that I could ride that recumbent bike until I did. I could never be sure of that. But now, because I've done it, like, I know I can, right? Another huge one was in one weekend, I went on a trip out of state, which I was like, I had made huge gains at this point, but this was still a big one for me. Because on this weekend, I was doing two things that I hadn't done yet and I had panic events at. One was a long hike in the mountains, and the other was an NFL football game, which is like the loudest place on the planet. And everyone's drinking and yelling and screaming. And then the hike, I'm in elevation. I know my heart's going to be beating. At this point, I wasn't like full on working out again yet. That was a huge win because I was able to go to that game with no alcohol, no nothing, and just had a great time and enjoyed myself and didn't panic. And it was awesome because there were so many things that would have triggered me and so many things that I experienced and was like, yep, I accept this, right? I accept feeling overwhelmed from the lights and the noise. I accept that my heart rate is higher. I accept that I might feel a little bit dizzy or like a hot flash. Like, whatever's going to happen, that's fine.
is that what you kept telling yourself while at the game?
Yes. And I found for myself, there's a balance, right? I was telling myself that, but I didn't want to keep telling myself that over and over and over. And what I mean by that is like, if we visualize that anxiety monster, right? And it says, hey, this is scary. Just go, hey, you know what? If it is, if it isn't, whatever. If it's scary, and I accept that it's going to be scary. But if it keeps talking to you, I'm not going to answer it every time. It's like, all right, I already answered you once. Figure it out now. You know what I mean? That was kind of the energy that I gave it. It's like, I already told you, you're going to figure this out eventually if you just kind of figure it out yourself. And that was what was most effective for me because I used to play like whack-a-mole with my thoughts. And I would just keep having them. And the more attention I was giving them, the more they would just keep being there. So I had to find a balance. But
the more energy you give to the thoughts, the more likely they're going to just come back, right? Because there's like a difference between a thought and thinking. And at first we gotta, we're thinking about stuff and then we're like, okay, I accept this, which is great because you're changing the energy, you're showing yourself also the result of what you do when you allow that to be, because then you get your lives back. So boosted confidence. But when you keep on, when you keep on wanting to recognize every single thought and respond to that in a correct way to every single thought, then you're thinking all the time. Eventually it's like, oh, this is a thought. This is the anxiety monster, whatever. I told you before, you can sit with me, but just, I'm not going to say the same things again. That can be good energy as well. Sometimes people ask me, do I need to soothe the anxiety monster all the time and give it kind love? I'm like, allow it to be there. You can be tough like a child. You can show tough love. Like, I told you this before, I'm doing this. We're safe, right? And that's such a good distinction. And it's finding your own balance in that as well is beautiful.
Yeah. It's easy to overthink too, because you want to make sure that you are changing that energy, but you can only do so much, right? Like there are rhythms, there are habits that are built into your nervous system to some level. And all that we can do is give it a gentle course correction and then let nature take its place. And I think that a lot of it comes from this desire to feel the results of it immediately, right? Like to practice acceptance and exposure and immediately be like, oh, I feel so calm. But it isn't like that at all. For me, the first multiple acceptance and exposures were anything but calm in the moment. You know what I'm saying? But that's how I knew they were working, was because it was scary. And if it wasn't scary, I was like, oh, I need to make this scarier right now. I'm not doing this enough. Like, let's say that my exposure is I'm out at the mall. Well, this isn't scary enough. Maybe if I run up a flight of stairs, my heart's going to be racing. That'll make it scary enough. So I'd do that, because it's like I need to make sure that I'm resting comfortably outside of my comfort zone here for this to really work.
That's spot on. Anyone's trying to figure out their exposure exercise once you get there in the program. Sometimes I get questions about this. What if I'm not afraid of the grocery store? Well, it's just an example. And as Johnny says, you gotta, if it scares you just enough that your first instinct is, I don't want to do this, that's likely a good thing, because we want to practice the response. So we actually go out, do something that you like to do, if you can, and then show yourself that you can handle this. And it's great. Like Johnny, you have when your heart rate goes up, that's like one of the symptoms, one of the things you focused on. So
yeah,
that's great to then do those things that kind of crush and I call that like powerful through panic or powerful through anxiety, because you show yourself, because I can tell you all day that you can do this, you're safe. Johnny, you're saying it as well. Sure. We both help people now, which is great, and anyone listening will get maybe confidence, maybe some proof, they'll feel good, but your nervous system doesn't really respond to that. You got to do it yourself, do it a couple of times until let's make a segue now. Until Johnny, you've done that, so you've done the exposure part, you've gone through the program. Where did that take you? What was at the end for you?
I want to say it took about a month, maybe 3 weeks to a month, for the panic attacks to just full on stop. After they stopped, I would have moments where I thought I was going to have a panic attack, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have a panic attack. All right, we're panicking. I mean, there was one time where I was driving and I'm like, oh, I'm about to have a panic attack. I was like, all right, well, let's pull over. Let's have this panic attack. And by the time I had pulled over, because I was so ready for it, it was gone. I was like, all right, well, I guess we're not having a panic attack. That happened a few times until that was full stop. And then slowly but surely, I started to regain ability back. The thing that was sweetest to me in the world was weight training and the gym. And I didn't think I'd ever be able to get that back. Like, even whenever I was getting better, I was like, I just don't think that's going to come back. I mean, that was the first thing to go. It's so scary, weight training. My heart rate spikes, my blood pressure, my body has to dynamically stabilize blood pressure. I'm going to get a little bit dizzy. Like, that's a normal feeling in the gym, right? You're going to get some heart palpitations, maybe. That can be a normal feeling in the gym. You're going to feel faint. That can be normal. All these things. Well, I am back to weight training every day. I do it every day. It's my favorite thing. When we're done with this call, that's where I'm going. I'm going to have my energy drink, and I'm going to listen to some music, and I'm going to lift weights, and it's my favorite part of the day. And that was losing weight training was such a huge loss for me. It was my meditation. It was my personality. It was my thing. I was a personal trainer. My friends were in the gym. It was such a big thing when I lost it. And I had all these people saying, hey man, I haven't seen you in the gym. What's going on? I didn't have anything to tell them. It was legitimately like losing a loved one. It felt like losing a loved one, but it was almost worse in a way, because only I had lost this loved one, but all my friends still got to enjoy their time in their presence. So I see all my friends having fun at the gym and enjoying the lifestyle that they love. And I'm watching it like, why can't I be there with them again? So having that back is a gift beyond anything I could put into words. And I'm just so extremely grateful, because that was the thing that I wanted back. There's hiking. I can hike again. I go to concerts. I go to sports events. There's nothing that I want to do that I can't do anymore. There's nothing that like I want to do right now. I'm like, well, I can't because of something. It's just like, I'll do whatever it is I want to do. And it also gave me the confidence to start posting videos of myself online, which can be extremely, extremely vulnerable. Especially whenever you're talking about things that were really, really tough times in your life. I mean, I've posted videos and pictures of myself crying, sobbing while going through the midst of it. To show kind of the transformation and just the energy, you know. I have back everything that I wanted back. And I'm just extremely grateful to be able to say that.
You've done something that's very uncomfortable, very scary. It's
Sure.
sometimes it is, on the long run it isn't, but like choosing the quick fixes is easier. It's more comfortable, right? Obviously not in the long run, but in the moment you're like, I want to get relief, I want this, and you don't have to do much yourself for most of these things. You did the opposite. You went through something that takes a little bit of time. It's extremely uncomfortable. You've got to do stuff that you don't want to do, right? You had to go on that bike and you had to say, you know, I'm doing exposure, I'm bringing it on, and it's still scary.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But, you know, it's okay if it's scary. It's not gonna be something we like, you know, having anxiety. But and then, you know, slowly responding in the right way and showing, you know, you've shown yourself extreme strength. So yeah, that tends to kind of boost your confidence in being able to deal with other things as well.
Absolutely.
And I'm so happy to hear, man, that you got your life back, right?
Yeah.
That you've got your gym back, because that is, I totally get that you would want to have that. How does that affect other people around you as well, positively?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, yeah. Well, yeah. So now that I'm going to the gym again, my girlfriend started going to gym with me. My sister's going to the gym now, and for my girlfriend, it's been awesome because she's been able to lose a ton of weight and change her life through going to the gym again with me. And she wouldn't have wanted to start if I wasn't able to go back and kind of like guide her through the awkward stages of just starting. So that's been a huge impact. I mean, I know that my friends are happy because we could go out and do things again. I mean, last weekend I was out at bars with my friends, which was something I never would have been able to do before, because even half of a sip of alcohol would have raised my heart rate. So that wasn't happening. Just the freedom to do that if you want to go out and be silly with your friends. Like, everyone should be able to do that. Just the blessing of freedom.
Yeah, man, anxiety not controlling your life and you making the decisions and not doing things because of anxiety and not leaving things because of anxiety. I think that is like that is for me what recovery looks like. And also on that note, I just want to quickly touch upon the fact that obviously now you're on, we just talked about this on TikTok, getting those views. You're talking to people. How does that feel? Because tell us a little bit about what you do now as a...
I mean, I've been brought to tears multiple times by being able to save people from things that I was dealing with. I remember whenever I first started, there was this kid. He was like 17 or 18 years old, and he was starting to have panic attacks in the gym while playing basketball, which was like, I was like, oh my God, that was me. And we spoke a few times. It was just starting for him. And it's so much easier whenever you're a couple weeks into it than whenever you're 5 or 6 years or 10 years or 15 years into it, right? It just doesn't take as long to reverse those patterns. Anyone, no matter how long you've been struggling, you can still do it. You can do it probably faster than you think you can, but it's just easier when it's brand new. But so he was a few weeks into it, and through speaking, he was ready for acceptance. He was ready for exposure, and he made a full recovery in like a month. And I remember him messaging me and just saying, dude, I can play basketball again. I can go out to eat with my friends again. I can work out again. He's like, thank you for this. And it brought me to tears, because I knew that I had been helpful in stopping the same thing that happened to me from happening to him, which was what I had this personal vendetta against, which was like anyone having to lose out on exercise and basketball. I mean, that's like so personal to me, because that was exactly what I went through. And I've been able to help a bunch of different people now be able to get parts of their life back. People from all over the world, which is the crazy thing. It's people of all ages, you know, people way older than me, people younger than me. It's crazy. Yeah, it's been a gift. It's been a huge blessing. And, you know, if it wasn't for what I learned in Anxiety Wave, I would still be suffering. And all those people, you know, I mean, it's like a domino effect, right? If I don't see that ad, maybe all those other people don't get to see the ad either. One person being cured or healed or recovered or whatever you want to say sets off just that downstream effect where so many people are blessed from that.
Wow. And that is I'm so obviously so glad to hear that, and I know obviously as well how that feels to be able to help others, and you know, use your darkest chapter, darkest period of your life, and the toughest things potentially that you had to do in your life, to use that for good, to, you know,
100%.
to get for good and in others. That is just the most beautiful thing I'd say, and this is also, you know, personally, I eventually came to the idea like I want to spread the word, I want to help others, similar to yourself, and but I didn't like. I was like, that would be awesome if I can just help one person, and then that two person, and like 3 people.
Yeah.
I never even thought about this happening, which is even 10 times, 100 times better. The domino effect, the ripple effect, is that, you know, I see you now on TikTok and you're helping people. What, you know, what you just shared with me, like that gave me the chills, because
I love that.
like we're spreading this thing, we're helping, because there's lots of misinformation, there's lots of stuff out there that doesn't help. Everyone has their journey, so there's nothing like, it's not bad if you tried these things. We all had, some have for years, some have for weeks, you know, like you said, you know, it's easier at the start potentially, but you just, the more people spreading this, and I had a call last week with someone who's like, you know, I have a friend or someone I know who's having a panic attack, and I knew exactly what to say, and I'm like, you know, I understand what you go through. He's like, I know what to do, let's go, you know. And he applied what he learned, even though he's still in the program. He's like, and the person's like, well, how did you know that? And it's like, you know, we're just all together as you know, as a team, I guess, of people who went through this. We're doing this, and it's just beautiful, man. And I really want to thank you for doing it. I know it's vulnerable to create those videos, and you're doing a great job. And as I said, I watch your videos, and it's amazing that you're able to reach and help those people, who will then again potentially help others as well.
Yeah,
So
right.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I wanted to know actually from you, like anyone who's watching this right now, there may be people who are unsure or doubting whether they will sign up to the mini course or whether they'll sign up to the Answer to Anxiety, the one you did, the 16-week program. What would you say to someone who's unsure about making that move?
I would encourage you to make that move so hard, because at the end of the day, whether you are afraid of practicing acceptance and exposure because it sounds scary, you're going to have to go through the anxiety out of the way. A month from now, you can either be a month into accepting the anxiety or another month into suffering from it. But you're going to have to go through it either way. So you can either go through it, accepting it, recovering from it, learning the strategies on how to accept it, because it isn't as simple as just going out, accept it. You need to be taught, because you have to understand anxiety. You have to become a bit of an expert in it so that you can understand genuinely what it is happening to you, so that you know what it is you're accepting, right? It's really important to get guidance on how to practice exposure, because there's a way to do it and a way not to do it. And most people don't do it the right way, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
It is such a reasonably priced course. Such a reasonably priced course that there's no reason not to try it. You owe it to yourself so much to give it a chance. You owe it so much to yourself to give it a chance.
Beautiful, beautiful. And last question now that you've, you know, recovered, you're living your life again, what's something you're most excited about when you look at the future now?
Excited about a lot of things. I'm really excited to see where TikTok can take me. I have some big plans for that. I would say, though, that the simplest thing is that I'm excited for more quiet moments, sitting on my porch, looking at the trees, just enjoying the sounds of nature, just relaxing. It's not grand, it's not huge, but it's a gift, because it's something I couldn't do for so long. And it's just this beautifully human experience to sit on your porch with a cup of tea and listen to the birds and look at the trees and enjoy that and feel that stillness there. I would say that right there is massively exciting, because it's like, I don't know, you just forget how much you can enjoy the mundane, how much you can enjoy relaxation whenever you're going through panic and anxiety. Like for me, there was no relaxing. There was no sitting on the porch and listening to birds, because I'd just be panicking. But it's like, now I can do that. I would say that's just what I'm most excited for, is just to be able to enjoy the quiet moments again. Because that's a blessing.
It is. And coming from where you've been in the darkest of times, and you know, feeling suicidal, as you said, would you say you're happy now in life?
Significantly. There are things that I need to work on, but they don't have to do with anxiety, which is beautiful, right? but I'm significantly happier. Absolutely, yeah.
Beautiful. And also, I love that you say there's stuff to work on. I'm always working on myself. And this is, as you know, when you go through the anxiety journey, you'll know that a lot of love for yourself and happiness comes from growth, come from personal growth, from working on things, working through things, getting better at stuff. That is where I think where a lot of happiness comes from, and a lot of self-love.
Absolutely, yeah. That is everything, and that's like why I mentioned that. I think I mentioned it pretty early into this call, but that if your happiness like waits for something outside of you, when you get there, all of a sudden that happiness is going to be moved even further down because there's a new thing that it's waiting for now, and that just keeps happening. And it's like, so being able to find happiness just in the moment, because you're alive, and because there's always beautiful things in your life, there's always things worth smiling about. No matter how bad things are, there's always something in your life worth appreciating and being grateful for. Like, and acceptance and exposure helped bring me into that present moment where I could do that, you know, because I always lived like outside of my body, right? Like thinking or anticipating or something, but being able to just go, you know what, I accept whatever's going to happen. That is going to happen. I'm not going to try and change it. It just brings you to that present moment where you can find that happiness, because it's really hard to find happiness in the moment you're not presently in.
Johnny, you're an inspiration. You're a great speaker. I'm really proud of you, as I said, and keep on going, man. Keep on changing the world. And I really want to thank you for your time today.
Thank you, man. Thank you.